Pastor John Gray has revealed to the world of his mental illness and his demonic attack. You'll see that in your own words as we get into this video. When God gives you that peace, you will rest in his security, his protection, his comfort, his love. Welcome back, guys, to another video. Today we are talking about Pastor John Gray. He's a pastor of a church. He was a pastor of a church. He has been caught on more than one occasion cheating on his wife. He released a video that was dated for June 3rd of 2015 after being caught in a compromising position. And I want to share some things. I'm gonna share what I've seen in his video. I have discerned what he's going through. I have looked at what he's gone through. I have looked at it from a secular standpoint, the worldview, and I also looked at it from the Bible standpoint. And we're going to break this down today. It's very tragic of what he's going through. It's very serious of what he's gone through. And I have, on a couple occasions, have researched the things that he's went through. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. The first thing that I want to talk to you guys about of the things that he has disclosed on this video regarding his mental health issues. The first one that he had brought up, before I get into it, there was some YouTubers that said that, this is not repentance, or this is not the way to repent, or, that he's really not genuinely repenting. And I think we're going to bring that into question because of his situation. We see in this video that he brought up about sexual abuse in his childhood, a horrible situation. I know a little bit about his situation as far as being sexually abused as a child, and that played a traumatic event on him. It played a horrible and traumatic time in his life, all the way up from a really small child all the way up until he disclosed until 15 years old. So that's one of the traumatic. This is one of the traumatic events that he's gone through. He also talked about generational setbacks in the video. Well, generational setback, and what he means by generational setback is a mental health passed down by generation and generation. And people sometimes can have depression passed down, or bipolar passed down, or schizophrenia passed down. So he has admitted, and we'll see that in this video, of a generational setback of mental health passed down. We also will see in this video suicidal thoughts. This wasn't just any type of suicidal thought. He actually had a plan to how to commit suicide and to put his affairs into play and how he was going to do it. He actually had a suicidal thoughts and a plan implemented, so when he did do it, it will be looked like as a mistake. So what am I saying? He had multiple therapists. So he has had this situation happening to him. He's been going through this situation since a child. And more than likely, he probably never received any type of help mentally until he was about 15 years old. He talked about that one of his therapists spoke about split identity. We know split identity or split personality disorder. It is pretty much another word for borderline personality disorder. It also has a commonality to DID, dissociative identity disorder. DID is commonly seen in schizophrenic patients. Symptoms. The symptoms are in a few categories. They have dissociative identity state. Another one is neutral identity state, which is NIS. And this is actually caused from a traumatic memories. Also, traumatic identity states, TID, is to be able to access and response to the memory that you have. I don't think we absolutely understand how much this man is going through and what he is actually faced with. We see the signs, and you'll see it in this video as it plays out. His signs and his symptoms that he fought through and that he fights through every day: fear, shame, trauma. He disassociates himself. He runs from the process. Therapy, multiple therapy sessions. He only went to those therapy sessions, putting in the work for only a set amount of time, only for a certain period of time, and then he stopped. Also, he stopped going to those therapy sessions. He stopped participating in those therapy sessions. He failed to get the tools to be able to help him. But nevertheless, what I do see that is biblical, we talked about the secular part, what is biblical is that he has a mental health issue. And most of the time when you have a mental health issue, a lot of times people that I have talked to and I have seen and I have counseled, and I am not a professional, I'm not giving any medical advice, I am just simply going off my observations and having it from a biblical counseling standpoint. I am not a healthcare or mental health professional at all, but this is what I discerned from it. Also, what I see is that this is a man that has been going through a lot all his life, and instead of wallowing and staying within the traumatic events that has happened over his life, living that memory every day, all day, I see that this man turned over his life to Christ, and he pushed away all the traumatic things that took place. And now what he has done is helped so many other people, guided so many other people, but he never quite dealt with his split identity. He was helping deliver, he was guiding people back to God, and he was helping to deliver many people. But he was the one that needed deliverance. And we're going to see that in this video. So all these things that I talked to you about, let me go over them quickly. His sexual abuse in his childhood, generational setbacks, mental health passed down from generation to generation, suicidal thoughts with a formed plan, multiple therapists. He admits to split identity or split personality disorder, which is congruent or commonly known as borderline personality disorder or dissociative identity disorder, and known for this DID is commonly seen in schizophrenics patients. And we're going to see, and I want you to take a look at this video and you'll be able to see exactly what I see now that you know. Okay, let's start now.
And I kicked the can down the road over and over again. But some months ago, I began to re-engage in the process of healing and truth-telling about my own soul. Sometimes in faith communities, in church, they don't let you tell the truth of your condition. And when you produce like I produce, people can assume that you're well when you're not. Truth is, I'm excited to embark upon a journey that is going to culminate in being fully actualized and fully healthy as a man, as a husband, as a father. You know, I just really want God to unlock my complete potential, the potential of my manhood. And I see the war on men and on our minds and on our souls. The trauma from sexual abuse in my childhood, the generational setbacks, the examples that I didn't have, and other people as well. Those can be reasons why we arrive at a place, but they can't be an excuse to stay there. At some point, we're going to have to take personal responsibility. I find myself looking in the mirror in a way that I never have. Many of you have loved me through so many different seasons of my life. This past weekend was the final piece in a very quiet puzzle that only a few people in my life knew about, which is I've been battling with a level of darkness that no one knew. And it come to the point where suicidal ideations were becoming more clearly formulated. And I was thinking about how I could make it look like an accident. I wanted to make sure that my affairs were in order, that there was insurance in place for my wife and my kids, because I was in such a dark place. And I was in darkness because of a number of things. One of my therapists that I have been privileged to spend time with said that when you have a traumatic event in your life, there's something that can occur called split. What happens in the split is because you don't have the language or the understanding of what happened to you, you literally compartmentalize that, and you literally act like it's not there, and you just keep moving on, and you have to become something else. So now you have two people warring in the same space. And I don't know if other people have had to endure this. And over the past few years, I've started what should have been a lifelong journey of addressing some of these traumas. And when I study about the demoniac and how Jesus delivered him, the part that blows my mind is at the end where it says that the man was sitting and clothed and in his right mind. Beloved, I pray that you would prosper and be in good health even as your soul prospers. Soul prosperity is critical. And I've been fighting for everybody else my whole life. And I never felt worthy of freedom. I never felt worthy of wholeness. And this is why I tried to literally give everything back that God ever gave me. I answered the call, but the call didn't change my trauma. My trauma required an aggressive about face.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to serve God. I've always wanted to be the man that God could be pleased with. But the truth is, I've been carrying so much weight for at least 38 years. The abuse started at 4, happened at 4. And I didn't tell my own mother for 15 years because I was so afraid that it was my fault. So everything from identity to sexuality to processing relationships, all of it was skewed and tainted and broken. And I lived in a very dark place. And it's only by the grace of God that he is even allowing me to face these things. And there's a difference, again, between excuses and reasons. Excuses are the devil and this, that, and the third. And the truth is, everybody has things. But because of my own fear, because of my own shame, I attempted to run from the process. And I stopped doing the work because there's work that has to be done. You can't just go to counseling for 3 months. You got to keep going. If it takes years, you got to go. But it's hard when you're the person that everybody's counting on for a word from God.
Now that we've seen that, and we've seen that he talked about his sexual abuse, generational setbacks, the mental health, the suicidal thoughts formed, planned, multiple therapists, split identity personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, dissociative identity disorder. It could be one of those things commonly seen in schizophrenics. What this means is sometimes when children are abused, they are physically or sexually abused, when they are abused and the abuse is taking place, sometimes they would set up another person, and another person in their mind will begin to be there with them. Some people have multiple personalities that they set up for different functions and different situations that may happen in their life. Let me give an example. A child or someone is abused, and as they being abused, they pull themselves out of it mentally. And then comes along another voice in their head, and they will normally name that other person. They will talk in third party. They will talk in third party because it really wasn't them. If they feel that it wasn't them, but it was the other person that they have associated with, that other person can be someone that only comes out when they need protection, only comes out when they're scared, only comes out when they're at school, and they have these multiple personalities for different functionalities of different events that take place in their life that come out that protects them. There are so many movies about this, and I've read and I've looked at so many movies, especially on YouTube, about these things that take place. And I think we need to be careful not to pass judgment on this pastor, because he is really going through something that is horrible. And his message is believable. And I think that all this fame that he received pushed him over the edge, but you can see in his face, as he said, well, you can see in his face and you can hear in his words that he's happy that this happened, that he's ready to do the work and ready to change and ready to help himself. This cheating on his wife is only the symptom from the root cause of something deep down inside. And I think he actually just showed us and expressed to us what he has been going through. And this is amazing to see. I wanted to share that with you. God bless you, and God bless your family.